So I can actually import this into Pio, and we don't have to do any of the node locking because so OOP like in position range, I set it to like tens plus ace 10 suited, ace queen, king queen suited, king jack suited, and half of queen jack, jack 10, 10 9, 9 8 suited, half of nines, and ace 5 suited, almost pure. So that's kind of how I set it up. And out of position range would be ace king half the times. I would say that he would 4-bet pure king queen suited as a bluff, ace kings queens, and ace king for value, and then sometimes ace jack, ace 10, ace jack as suited as a bluff, king jack suited as a bluff, as per like 4-bet is involved, and then so we're calling half the times ace jack, king jack, and then some other times like half the times 4s up to 9s, 10s, and jacks pretty much. So jacks half the time just gets 4-bet for value. 10s 1/4 of the time 4-bet for value. Rest of pairs call half, fold half, and suited connectors all the time except for 5/4, which is half the time. So this is kind of like how I envision the calling range.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Makes sense.
Starting pot 352. Everything seems to be fine. Bet sizes are the same as previous hand, except for OOP actually having leads. I didn't put in leads for OP. So king of diamonds, 7 of hearts, 4 clubs. Check. We see that in position we'll be betting 80% of the times, the 1/3, and then Pio chooses to polarize 20% of the range. He never checks. So if Pio chooses to polarize like 20% of range, he chooses really, really cool hands like aces that don't block opponents' calling range, like King X. He goes for like some of these weird blocker, so some blocker plays like ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, mostly with backdoors. As I see, the spades are less bet. If you can see, like a lot less frequency, like the spades, except for ace queen, which to me is interesting. Some king queen, some king jack, but mostly just betting absolutely everything else. Like 1/3. Also, I see 9s as being bet partially with the intent of overbet. I think he might consider this as being sort of bottom pair range and going for turning this into a bluff later streets.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is kind of
like an equity denial play.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah, and then some ace queens, and that's kind of it. Ace queen, especially with the spade, because then you get called by I get it. I understand why ace queen with spades is bet more, and then ace jack, because ace queen with spades is ahead of his backdoors that call.
Yeah, kind of.
So that's why, because you're not blocking ace jack of diamonds, for example, if you have ace queen of spades. So that's why. Yeah. Okay, and some ace 5s, because we have also some backdoors. Good. So we go for the 1/3. We go for the call. We see that we actually don't have a raising range here, which I believe I did. No, I did not input. Okay. We'll go with like no raising range here, like call. But either way, on this flop, do you ever have a raising range? Probably not.
Nah, I don't think I want to anyway.
It's just like forever weird. Forever weird if you have a raising range here. So I was okay. Turn is the 7 of spades, right? So we go check. 7 of spades. On the turn, I did input raising sizes just so we know. So we have a check, and then we have a full check, and this was weird. We have a full check from imposition because he doesn't really have a lot of bluffs. You know, I mean, it's just awkward. It's just awkward. On this card, it's just like super weird to me. I think we check because we are at a range, sort of like a range of disadvantage versus 7x that early position has. But
do you assign 7x to the early position player?
We did have the suited connectors. We did have the 7 suited, 7-6 suited.
Okay.
Pocket 7 sometimes. Yeah. So
okay, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. So full check, right? And then this was really interesting to me, but it makes sense from a range point of view that you're now kind of on the defense, not ahead of range. 3 of diamonds on the river, and this actually blew my mind because I input on the river here. I put in 66%, 100%, 150%, and all in. Right?
Okay.
So Pio actually goes shove with 8% of range.
Oh wow.
5x overbet, 8% of range, 150%, 22% of range, and then these are just like very, very small samples and checks like half. So goes all in with 8%. That 8% for me is the straight, the 6-5 suited, like a little bit of it. 7-6 and 8-7 for the trips, pocket sevens, pocket fours, and ace jack suited. See? This is ridiculous. Okay, ace jack suited, some ace 10 suited. Yeah, so this is ridiculous. It actually chooses that, which is holy shit. Some ace kings. Yeah, so you were right. For the ace king, for like value, it just goes shove. And it prefers the ace king with the diamond, actually, for like higher frequency. But I don't think that matters like too much. But ace queen goes in as a bluff. Especially preferring the ace queen of spades, right? So ace jack and ace 10. So these are the bluffs, which are like, oh, holy shit, man. This is actually
basically anything that doesn't have showdown value is a shove. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it that way, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Yeah, and then we have okay, some jack 10 suited also, which is interesting. Like very, very rarely, but the other overbet, like 150%. So sometimes he jams, sometimes he overbets. A bigger frequency is 150% on the river. And yes, you're right. Anything that doesn't have showdown value is a shove here because we're ahead of opponent's range pretty much, like by a lot. Sometimes we see checks from 8-7, 7-6, and 6-5, and not so much from ace king, for example. And I believe that this is because of the fact that we unblock with 8-7, 6-7-6, and 6-5, we unblock villain's betting range, villain's value range, right? We unblock the ace king, we unblock aces, and villain can just continue betting, and these hands are going into our check raise.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, and sevens and fours too. Like, see 50% of the times we're checking sevens, which is big here. And then of course checking ace jacks and sixes, fives, 5-4 suited. Interesting. Yeah. So ace jack, ace 10, and ace queen are actually overbets on this river, which is wow, holy shit, that's a lot. Like it's a lot. This is at either a shove, 25% or 20% shove. The rest is overbet. Like, people will be under bluffing massively on this board. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, exploitatively, I think people don't really bluff. They just give up with their ace 10. And
Yeah, they're like, check, I lose, and maybe I can introduce this maybe into like my check raising range, maybe like ace queen. But that's not going to happen too often, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, jam, and then you see calling range has to be aces folds, actually, because you're blocking opponent's bluffs.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, aces is pure fold here because you're blocking opponent's bluffs.
Oh.
You're blocking ace jack, ace queen, and ace 10. So
But
that's why
for
aces...
this to happen, right? Like, bit too easy has to understand that OTB is bluffing with ace jack and ace 10.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, it might happen, but I don't think that's gonna happen too soon. Like, super deep understanding pure fold aces, but pure folding aces here is fun, and then calling ace king because you only have one ace, and that's kind of better hand to call versus, and the king jack.
Yeah.
The king jack is the king jack is wild.
Why is king jack a call before king queen? That's the thing. Like,
before king queen?
What? Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's crazy, man.
Let's see. So, queen is bluff. Like, because the percentage, the weight of ace queen is big compared to weight of ace jack and ace 10 that you have like a lot lower, like 50%, 40%. So, ace queen suited is a big part of bluffing. Also some queen jack suited. So that's why. I'd say
Okay.
versus this bet. Let's see versus the normal 1.5x pot. You start raising kings now, of course. Ace king becomes just a call. Ace is a pure fold again. This is
Wow.
ridiculous.
So that's surprising. That's really
Yeah,
surprising.
you think that's surprising? What about nines?
Wow, nice.
Nines
Yeah,
is plus EV because
wow.
it just unblocks everything, right?
Yeah, it's like you win bluffs, right?
Yeah,
And you need
yeah.
yeah, you still win bluffs.
Yeah,
It's like the
because
pocket
tens,
listing
jacks,
nothing.
and queens blocks bluffs.
Yeah,
Aces blocks bluffs. Ace, queen, ace, jack, ace, ten are weaker than nines, so they're lower in your range.
yeah.
So ace five doesn't matter. So it's nines,
Damn.
right?
Okay. I don't think
Okay.
people should. I don't think people should try this at home. This is pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah. The kids do not try this at home because this is weird. But nines actually make sense if you think about it, because it just the other hands are bad, are worse. I don't think anybody, like any human, could do that. But
Yeah,
it's crazy. And then you see like aces pure fold and nines half the times we call ridiculous.
yeah.
But this is the power of blockers, you know. That's it.
Yeah,
And
really is.
as Mike Matisow said, blockers do not exist in poker. You know,
What?
like
He
actually,
said that?
yeah. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Mike Matisow blockers, and then he made a YouTube video on his channel called Blockers for Dummies. Wait, I think,
What?
yeah. Here we go. This is how it looks. And he has a book in his arm called Blockers for Dummies. He sort of, yeah, he sort of redeemed himself with that. It's pretty funny.
Oh
Um,
man, that's pretty good. That's
Mike
pretty good.
Matisow and Daniel Negreanu talk about blockers. So he said this to Daniel, actually. And it was like a vlog. It was like in his vlog. He said like blockers don't matter in poker or something like that, or blockers don't exist. It's like, and he was like dead serious. Like you can tell, like he's
Oh,
absolutely dead serious. Yeah, he's a bit of a nut job, but but it's fun, man. It's fun. He's a fun nut job. Anyways, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Thanks for the follow, backdoor quad draw. It's like, I really like that nickname, backdoor quad draw. Nice. So this was the hand that I wanted to show in Pio because I thought this was amazing. Like the whole nuances and like you can learn so much from this hand. Like whereas blockers, whereas turning your hands into bluffs, whereas you can learn like a lot. Like selecting
Yeah.
bluffs, boards that don't have bluffs, you can't really bet that much. You can't really bet big. So I'd say that if I don't put if I put in like here, let's say that UTG does not have 7x in his range, then on King 747, you can't really bet like a really big sizing, only exploitatively, but it's very bad, I think, in normal game to bet a big sizing. I think you can just continue with like 1/3 half pot, something like that.
Yep.
You just continue to keep your opponent's range wide, because then you'll get a lot more value on like some rivers, which I think that's good.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see what else. What other hands we had? Ace Jack of Diamonds. This is pure magic here. like he found the bluff. Maybe he just he just bluffs that like 5x over. He's like, okay, I'm gonna 1.5x with like ace queen and ace 10, and then ace Jack of Diamonds I just jam, and something like that, and for so that people can review my hands online and think like, what a beast. Right. So this hand was interesting. He opens, and I have proof now that he does have 7x in his opening range early position. Look, so we have like a call here. We have like a lead actually from Big Blind, which I think is fair because Big Blind has 5-4 and has
Yeah.
some stuff here. I think it's okay. I do that sometimes, but to me they just fold pretty much. And it goes like I'm looking for the fold here with like 9x. I'm looking just to take the pot down sometimes, like, but I bet like way bigger here. I polarized kind of
Yeah,
like
you
with 9x.
you gotta bet bigger.
Yeah,
You gotta bet
yeah.
bigger.
So it's like a 1/3 from reg guy, and then we have a call, and then a raise, and then a fold, and then another call. right?
Okay.
So this is a weird range for me because it just feels like tens would raise here. Wouldn't tens raise here?
Like from like OTB.
Yeah.
Well, I mean you could, but
Not a lot, but just for the sake of protection, we have the guy behind protection from like whatever, I guess.
right. Yeah, but if you do get re-raised, it's a really ugly spot, you know?
It's yeah, I would say that if we do get re-raised, it's a pretty easy fold for like tens. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. By the way, we call and then we call again versus the raise, and then we check jam the turn. Like,
Okay.
what the fuck is this line? Like,
Not a really like good play from under the gun, considering how his range looks like.
sorry, just a sec. I'll take a question for chat. 5x
Okay.
overbet. 5x overbet is plus EV for future action. Yes. Yes. I think it's part of his mojo because people just give him like stack off with jacks versus early position called for bet, you know. So I think that might be the case. Question is, Tight Pocket says, so you have to bet big with bluffs to balance for when you have value. Yes, you have to bet like the same size with a sufficient amount of bluffs so that you can't really only be value betting or can't really be over bluffing because then you're exploitable. Does that make sense? Is that correct sense?
Yes, that's right.
Does that make sense? That's good.
Yeah.
So if I understand it correctly, the cable says, if I understand it correctly, GTO folds aces and not nines because it assumes that opponent will bluff correctly ace jack and aces blocks those bluffs. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's
Yep.
yeah. Opponent will bluff ace queen, ace jack, ace 10. Aces blocks that. Nines unblocks that. So if you have nines, your opponent will have the whole amount of ace queen, ace jack, ace 10. But if you think about it, those are kind of your bluffs in that spot. So it's kind of there. So we see a check jam on this turn, to which you're saying that early position is not really that strong.
Yeah, I mean, when you do this, right? Like
Yeah.
the best hand that you could have is probably like nines and sevens, but I don't think sevens
I don't
plays
think
like
yeah,
that.
I
Like,
don't think sevens exist here even. Like this is
right.
some very narrow range.
So you either have nines or like you have like some overpair that's really scared to play a river and
I would not do this with an overpair. Holy shit, my opponent has so many. Holy shit, my opponent has so many
yeah,
sets here. Like I wouldn't do this with overpair because it's like call, right?
it's a really spewy play. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
So
really
are you doing this with like only nines and some other stuff that to balance? Like it's weird.
I
And
don't think I'll have a like check ripping range, I think.
yeah, it's
I'll
just
just I'll
check
just
call.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check
Just call.
rip was very interesting. King Jack River. We see 7-8.
Okay, that's not. Yeah, when you have like showdown value because of the 7x, I think calling is way better. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
If you have
just
like Jack 10,
I
then
guess
you
he
can,
was just
yeah.
trying to like maybe deny equity from tens, but I think tens should 3-bet pre-flop. So to me, it doesn't. This hand does not make sense, like at all.
Yeah. Like Jack 10 of clubs is a way better check rip than like this hand. Like way better. So not really good play by OTB, I
Yeah.
feel.
Why is Jack 10 of clubs a better rip?
Because you don't have like any showdown value, you just have Jack high and you
Oh
can
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But do you have showdown? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do actually. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so
Yeah.
rip versus set. Even magicians make mistakes. I think I have like 5 more hands that I went through, like Linus.
Okay.
And then I could ask you some questions, and then we'll probably conclude this. If you do have time, though, like you can always say,
Yeah,
like, "Hey, I'm dead now. Can we just like cut it out?"
yeah. It's okay, let's go, let's go.
All right. I think the marked hands should be appearing, but my hold'em manager is tanking a little bit. There we go. He probably
Okay.
had like a very important river decision to calculate right now. No, it's like hold'em manager 3 is weird with like marking hands. I don't really know why. But if I click this, oh, now it works. Okay. Let's go like this. There we go. Hey, what's up, Kilp? How's it going? So we have fish 123 that 3 bets. Linus cold 4 bets big blind. This is, by the way, this is 25-50. So we've changed. Your brain is done. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So, Dam Roach says in chat, my brain is done. Thank you. Excellent. We have 5 more hands. You might want to just stick around and Then we'll
Yeah.
ask some. We'll take some questions from chat too. If you guys have any questions about poker that I can answer or Sense can answer, that'd be nice.
Yep.
So cold 4-bet, Queen Jack 6. I would say this flop actually favors fish a bit more. Or is it like even?
I think it's still
Even range.
better for Linus. It's still better for Linus.
Because
I
he
would
has
say.
like aces, kings, but I would say that maybe Linus doesn't have jacks here.
He's the 3-better, right?
No, he's cold 4
Oh,
bet.
4-better. He's the 4-better.
Cut off button 3
Yeah.
bet, cold 4 bet, big blind. Still have jacks, maybe 50%.
Yeah, yeah. I think Jacks might still be a 4-bet considering how it's like four-handed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
But that deep, I think Linus might actually just I don't think he has a cold calling range. Okay, so maybe yeah, Jacks is still a 4-bet. Like I don't think Linus Linus wants to play Jacks, right? Like
Yeah.
he will just snap fold. So he's either 4-betting or just like folding, and I don't think he's like cold calling 3-bets. So I think Linus has Jacks, like for sure. But
Alright.
Fish also has the same amount of Jacks because like
Yeah, okay,
he
okay.
shouldn't be 5
So
betting.
a bit of advantage for like aces and kings and ace queen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Linus sees Jack and he's like, I ain't folding this. Are you crazy? Like and then this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this was
Okay.
like I was like, what's
Okay.
going on? Like, why? How?
Like ace king or spades? What?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about too. Like exactly ace king of spades. Is that like a hand that you just exclude from your whole range? 3x pot just to deny like ace jack or something?
That's crazy. The perfect hand to do this is king 10 of spades because you have king high.
But do you have
You
that
get
in
ace
your
high-
cold 4-betting range? Right.
I-
So sorry, I was. You have king high, right? So you're folding ace high, you're folding ace king, you're folding maybe even ace jack in this spot, right?
Yeah, and you get all those like pocket nines, pocket eights to fold, you know?
Yeah. But this is such a sick spot. Can fish actually find enough range to call here? Versus,
I think
like,
I'm calling any queen. I know that.
yeah, but is that enough in your range? Because it doesn't feel like it.
So I call any queen, and I call jacks. I call queen jack. I call queen 10 is a little hard. Yeah, I think he'll do fine.
Okay.
Sixes. Yeah, I think
So we
Six
have
all good.
okay,
Yes, like a lot of
and
spades.
some spades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we see a call. Ace of spades. So he doesn't have ace king of spades. Jack 8. And we see ace king of clubs.
Okay, that's surprising. I would think like he
Well.
want to like see more turns because of how he is like the backdoor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, at this point, versus like knowing Linus, I'd say he knows what he's doing, you know? So, I don't know, including this combo in like shoving range, maybe this is a bit more like bluffing. This is like hard to play. You don't want to get raised. You don't want to check call. I don't know, man. Like this is just like really weird to me.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm always check calling this spot. I think cause like fish has more like jacks, queen, like not queens but like jacks and like queen jack.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, queen jack
yeah.
definitely.
You always get owned in this spot when you get called. You know. Like,
Yes.
you always have
Yes.
like 20% at most or something.
Yeah.
And that's not really good when you're like 3x over betting against like a range that's like similar to yours, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's just weird. Holy shit,
Yeah.
man.
It's a bad.
The cable says
Not
this
bad.
is what fishes do at 2NL. Yes,
Dude.
yes.
Yeah,
We
man.
need to bring those people to play Linus because gonna get so confused. He's like, my ace king missed. I don't know what to do. Shove. It's like Dur, you know? It's like Dur's, Phil Galfond said like he would go always to Dur and you're like, dude, do you call or fold in this spot? And Dur was like always raise. Always consider all three options. Raise. Like, yeah, it's just jam. It's simple. Poker is simple. We're like overcomplicating. We're like check raising like 50%. No, just fucking jam 3x on the flop. Yay, fist pump. That's it. Boom. Hit some clubs,
but
bro.
I do have like something to say though. Like if
Yeah.
if Linus was to like consider like other options, right? I think check jamming as a bluff is way better than just jamming straight out to fold a hand. Because you bait a bet, right? You bait like
Yeah, and if you get checked back, you're happy.
yeah, right. So baiting a bet and then shoving over the bet is way better than shoving yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's always better, right? So yeah, he should check.
Yes, something.
Shove.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Damroach says, do you think that having the same players all the time in hands, because I've been watching OTB a lot, matter a lot? Yes, because they study each other. Because always the example about Red Baron playing cash has the same players in there. New players are so not there in high stakes. I'd say that it's very, very hard to get to that point, and the new players generally aren't that good. You have to have some sort of... It's very hard to play against these people, right? If you're a, like Nolmit 2000 grinder, and then it's a high jump to like Nolmit 10,000, Nolmit 20,000, Nolmit 5,000. Like these guys are playing right here, right? If you're grinding like Nolmit 1K, let's say, and Linus doesn't play 510. It's like 1020, right? It's a huge jump actually to play with these people, because they're like the end bosses, and you don't want to play the end bosses. And generally, they don't play all the time. They play when there's incentive to play. When there's a weaker player that sits at their tables, the table immediately fills up, waitlist for like 60 people, and then, yeah, I mean, that's how these tables get formed.
Yep.
Right. So you don't want to be sitting down unless you have the bankroll and have the nerve, because that there's also there's a reason why these are called like nosebleeds right now, right? So you have to have a little bit of like a nerve to play these people, right? So yeah, I think your argument for just check jamming ace king clubs is like way better.
Yep.
I like that
I mean,
a lot
that's
more.
if you were to just compare it to like jamming straight out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But full range 1/3 does also make sense, or like
Yeah,
quarter full
it
range.
does. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you got snapped by his queen. Okay, so we have like Oh Hey Cindy, who looks also like a reg, but mostly plays like I think 3-handed, 4-handed, because of the stats are like 44-27.
Yeah.
So this is like some sort of 4-handed sample. 959, standard 1/3. Again.
Oh, the guy who limps pre-flop is Invoker. I just realized.
Oh yeah. He also has a stream on like. Sorry, just a sec. So we get to this question then. Why should this apply to a normal game? I don't understand, Demroach. Oh, GTO in general, because you kind of make more money versus regs by not over bluffing, but not also under bluffing. I would say this Linus has a bit of advantage on this board because he has like 9x's. I would say like in 3-bet pot also, like he has like nuts. He has like 9x and pocket fives, but then Okay Cindy has like all the high pairs. So I'd say that 1/3 is fine on this board. Continues with this. I don't like this. I kind of don't like just continuing here because with like 2/3, I don't think this is a spot you'd want to do that on like trip nines board, because you have combos that just totally destroy you. Also sevens now. So yeah.
Cindy's really making the pot really big when like he's out of position
and not with range advantage too much, and does not have nuts. V-Chain Thor, yes, I did. Okay, so we get min raised, which I think is I would have called here honestly. Like if I have a 9 or like pocket fives or something, I would have called the river. I think we can comfortably get it in on the river like 8k behind. Not really. I understand the min raise, but the min raise kind of tells me that Oh Hey Cindy is not a reg, because you wouldn't do this versus Invoker, right? You wouldn't do this versus a reg because it's kind of like face up,
right?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, what bluffs do you have here? Like,
like 10-8, like that's the best one you can have, right? But floating the flop with 10-8 is pretty insane also.
Yeah, 10-8 backdoor. Like we have 3 combos of 10-8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can float 10-8 backdoor. That deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, just a sec. V-Chain Thor, this is not the subject of our conversation here, but I probably wouldn't either if I were him. So this happened like 2005, 2015, 2016. So yeah, probably no. It does make sense. So GDI says, "Oh hey Cindy is a reg." So we're talking reg wars here. if this is like reg, this is interesting because I mean, you could still just make an argument for calling turn and then pot is 5k on the river and then there's 7k left behind. But I guess min raising and then shoving is a fact. And we see 10-9 as being the 3-bet and 7-6 as being the turn min raise. So it's not 10-8, it's 7-6 apparently. But what I don't understand, and I will never understand this, is the call.
What did he have?
Sorry, let's just replay the hand because Hold'em Andrew just fucks up sometimes. HM3 is still in beta. So we have 29, right? Jam, and we have 4.5k behind.
Okay. Oh, that's a really bad call from Linus.
And we call 7-6. I don't know, man. Like there's no flush on board. What's going on? like calls. And we see.
So Linus was bluffing Cindy, but now he thinks that Cindy is bluffing him.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on? Holy shit.
That's 9, dude.
We have a question in chat. I'll take questions right after we finish these hands, and Sense will maybe help me answer the question. Yep. So hold on. Okay. I'll hold on to your question, Tight Pockets. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was like I didn't understand the call. Like that was like something like very, very weird in my head. Just like going for min raise, call it off. It's like some sort of meta. Like, he's gonna jam ace king sometimes. I gotta press the call button here, man. My pot odds are just like it's still 32%. So weird.
Okay, I can see why this makes sense. Like from Linus' perspective, like if he thinks that when Cindy reships it, right, he never has a hand like aces, kings, and queens because it's like it's kind of like mediocre. You don't really want to like ship it over like a min raise bluff.
Yeah.
You follow me so far?
Yeah.
So he either has 9x or air, right? Like that's what like Cindy's saying, right? Yeah. And if Linus thinks that he needs to be right 32% and he can make this call, then it makes sense to call.
Yep. Somebody in chat says VChain Thor says Linus blocks boats. No.
Well, not really.
No. Cindy has 9x here. There's no boats. This is a 3-bet pot pre. We don't. Do we have 7s?
You mean Linus? Yeah.
No, Cindy. Do we have 7s with Cindy? 3-bet pre. 1/3
it's an
flop.
ambitious 3-bet, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the pre-flop is probably not a 3-bet versus cutoff. Just call on the big blind and play it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, shove and no, the shove is legit. Absolutely. 10-9 is legit. Absolutely okay. And yeah. No, they shipped in on the turn. It's like bet 75, min raise. Like just slightly over min raise. It could no, we have to click the 31% button because 30% is not good, Just min raise a little bit over, and then boom.
Yep.
Just fireworks, This is sick meta here. It's either sick meta or a huge misclick. Imagine misclicking. It's like, no, it's 4 R's. Yeah. And there it is, 7-6.
Wow.
And
cool hand. This is a really cool hand.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, 3-bet was big blind. Okay. Nice hand. So we see Fring opening button, Linus 3-betting to 9 blinds, actually. When was this hand played? 2017. This hand was 2017, so still not, maybe like back then wasn't like yet the 11 blinds, 12 blinds meta for like 3-betting small blind.
What was that? You mean forexing the bottom?
Yeah. Going for like 11 blinds, 12 blinds, small blind.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Like I think this size is pretty good. To be honest.
All right. So we see a 4-bet. That's
a really big 4-bet.
It's big, but I think they're also deep.
Pretty deep, yeah.
So it would make sense, but it would also make sense if they're deep for Linus to 3-bet bigger. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, we see the call.
Okay.
T-Dubs asked, what if he min raised to control pot and check down rivers that an overpair would continue betting? I don't think an overpair would ever slow down there, like a big one. Talking about previous hand. min raise
Oh, okay.
for pot control.
Well, if you really wanted to pot control, you could have
Just
well, another
call
way to
and
look at it is like you
yeah.
really want him to continue bluffing if he is bluffing, but the moment you min raise and he does call, he has like some sort of like showdown value, and like you don't want to put in another $1,400 just to find out whether he has showdown value, you know? That doesn't really make sense, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's how I feel about the hand.
that's a really good explanation, by the way.
Yep.
All right, so we see the already Frig kind of doesn't strike me as a good like reg because immediately like a bit over half pot and 4-bet pot seems not so GTO. But either way, like 3-10-9, I guess it could be. Because like he doesn't have already 4-bet 10s or 9s, does he? But Linus does have those hands,
Yeah, he
right?
does.
So
Yep.
if anything, I might elect either to check back or bet something like water pot here.
Yeah. It's a good flop to check back.
Yeah. So, and there's not that much draws and just, hey, somebody thanked you in chat for that explanation. So that's a good point.
No
Thanks.
problem, man.
So we have 1.5k, right? And it's a big size, on not so balanced. We have a raise, which is kind of standard here, I'd say, for Linus's range to raise like 10s and 9s. You could just call. You could just make a point for calling. But I guess if he knows that Fring is recreational, then he's probably playing his hand and not his range, and his hand is strong. So if you have 10s and 9s, you just immediately raise here,
Right. Yeah, it's a good play.
right? So we
Like,
see a
yeah.
shove, and we see the call and the hands. They run it twice. Hands are Queen Jack of Spades, and sixes.
Wow. Wow. That's a crazy call with sixes.
No,
Some six-
I think this is a recreational player like with sixes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not the part that's not so fun is him losing both runouts. Like it tilts you when this happens. This is absolute bullshit. When somebody just jams on your sixes, it's just like the worst play in the world.
What? Yeah, man.
And you have to call with like Queen Jack here, and then you miss like both runouts, and then boom, sixes.
Wow.
V-Chain Thor says it's not a recreational player 29-19. That doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. You can be null mid 2 grinder with 29-19, and at these limits you'd be like if Linus was the chicken, you'd be the egg, right? Doesn't matter. He has no spade, doesn't block any draws. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on,
I
man.
mean,
Stop it.
It's like that justifies calling pocket users and all the way
Yeah.
to like sevens and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, like fucking
make sense.
sixes. You're all in, yes, yes. Jesus fucking Christ, man. He just understands combos well. Nice. Okay. I think this is our last hand that we selected. This is Squeeze from Linus, button calls, Asian Invasion reg, and Give Me Up also reg. So this is reg wars. We have a squeeze. This board is, I'd say that it's very, very decent for Linus. Asian and Give Me Up should not have like deuces and threes. Also, I don't understand the call in the small blind. Not really that. With Linus in the big blind, you kind of don't want to be doing that.
Right.
Wait, hold on. So
But
V-Chain
if you're
Thor.
that deep, I think it's okay.
Wait, I have somebody that's like he just understands combos well. Linus just min raise called with sevens in 3-bet pot. You're saying he's a fish too. It's too high level for you. And boss meta is a bizarro world. That's fine, man. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I don't condemn the Queen Jack play. I condemn the pocket sixes. Fuck's
Yeah,
sake,
the sixes is crazy.
Holy shit. It's just such spew. Like it's a ridiculous spew.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6, 7, 5. We see both calling. Linus bets actually a bit more than 1/3 here. It's like 40% pot. And this is 3-way, so he's very, very, very knowledgeable of the fact that he's ahead here and just wants. I guess he just wants like a lot of folds, and then to get some value. I expect this to be polarization, but this was like a half pot bet, and this is kind of. It makes sense to me because you'd want a hand like a pair to call to keep calling here, But if I
Right.
had 7x, it would be very, very hard for me to call here.
Yeah, I think a smaller size would be better, like 1,002 or something, 1,003.
Yeah, you kind of you can polarize, right? You can go with like ace king and just go really big, go with like
Yeah.
kings and kings, and like aces and go really big, and then polarize with like some other hands that you have, like maybe like king queen suited, some stuff like that,
Yeah.
and go for like the way smaller size.
In general, like this card hits Linus so hard, and it's a card that he's always betting, right? Like,
Yeah,
even when he's bluffing, so like he should really like reduce his size. If not, he's like kind of bluffing too much, you know? Like
yeah,
larger
yeah,
size
yeah,
means
yeah.
you have to bet less, and smaller size means you bet more. Like you can bet more, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this
his
bet
sizing
size
is
was
kind of
like
too large.
weird to me. It feels like he's trying to really pry that value out of those pocket eights. You know? Like
Yeah.
really, really, really like get that value from like flush draws, and then rivers like check jam,
Okay.
and Linus has queen eight.
Wow, he
Yeah,
squeezed with queen eight. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. This is sick. Like this is why I marked this hand, because it was like, what's going on? So
Wow.
so squeeze queen eight suited in the big blind, which I don't totally condemn. I think it's a bit says asks if is Linus playing 40-23 on 20k hands. Yes, but you have to take into consideration that he also plays heads up or three-handed for
Yep.
a lot. So you can't really rely on these stats. I could also hide this HUD. It's kind of like irrelevant, but you can also see the whales. Like people have like 94% VPIP or something, so that's why it helps. Yeah. So squeeze queen eight, 40% flop, half pot turn, sort of unbalanced, and then shove river, and then still getting called by sevens. I guess he just estimated give me up's calling range to just be sevens here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an ambitious bluff, I feel. Like after calling the turn, I don't think I would bomb the river if I was Linus.
If you're Linus, then and you're doing this with queen eight, you're doing this with full range bluff, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm giving up river a lot. If not, I'm bluffing too much. But on this king turn, I'm definitely betting because this card is just so good for me, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but not that size. Like 1.2.
Hmm.
I spend less on my bluffs, but I bet more. Makes more sense because
Yeah.
if he's folding anyway. You don't really have to like go big or anything.
There's some weird shit going on at these stakes, man. I swear. Okay, we have one more hand with Urasov.
Okay.
4-bet pot. Um, Urasov is like 49-30 over 2,000 hands. So I would say either recreational or plays a lot of three-handed / heads up.
Yep.
We have a 4-bet call lead.
Okay. Interesting.
This is a very
Interestingly.
interesting line. This is a one like quarter pot 4-bet pot lead, and I think this is actually meant to get raised like a lot, because a lot of people will not just call here. I think a lot of people will get like really imbalanced and raise all their overpairs here,
Right.
like
Right. Right.
everything.
Makes sense.
And then Linus
Yep.
jams, of course, and he can jam with sets. He doesn't have 4 or 5 suited here, so he has sets. He's got and some flush draws and like 7-8 suited, 7-8 of diamonds, stuff like that. So I think this lead is just destined to get over raised so that you can jam.
Wow.
I think he's kind of always jamming here.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like,
It feels that way. It feels that way. The boy is like connected. He really just wants to pile his money
yeah.
in if he
So
really has it.
I'd say that
Yeah.
this is a play versus recreational player. But this is to remember, right? When recreational player has a good hand, you don't want to let him check back on this kind of board. Leading quarter pot is very interesting strategy versus if this guy is recreational indeed.
Yeah, I would lead bigger, but okay, this 1/4 sizing is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it just makes Urasov just like want to raise, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy shit, this is like because it's easier if you bet that and get raised. It's easier to shove than to just directly check jam, because your opponent might just bet like 1/3 himself or quarter.
Right, right.
I think that's pretty sick line. It's a really, really
Yeah.
sick line. And he did this with ace 3.
Oh, wow.
So I don't understand, man. Like I want to quit. I can't.
Wow.
I
Oh,
can't.
okay.
Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Everything points to the fact that Yurasov will not fold an overpair. We have an ace
Yeah.
blocker and a 3.
I know PioSolver likes to like check raise these like bottom pair with ace blocker
Mhm.
hands like
Mhm.
in a 3-bet 4-bet pot,
Mhm.
but like as a check raise, not like a lead and then get raised and then shove over kind of thing, you know? Like that's just
Yeah.
insane. That's just insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi Geronimo. Uh, the cable says I get it. They're all fishes. Yeah, Linus is, and also Miguel Cruz says Urasov is not a recreational. Okay, so if he's a reg, then Linus is just pioing this. Like this is the hand that he uses as like a bluff and shit like that. Holy
Yeah.
dude, I will pio this hand and make a video about it because this is ridiculous. So Linus is known as the best high stakes player at the moment, but what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. He's not a recreational. Okay. How's it going,
Okay,
Brian the
okay.
Thon? Dude, this was. I'm really happy that I selected these hands because we had some action today. We had some crazy pots. I'm gonna
Yeah,
pio
man.
this hand and maybe make a video about it because this is just too good. It's like too good to pass up. And if I get what I want from this hand and actually understand what the fuck happened, 200 blinds deep. This is 200 blinds deep, man. This is you can just I'm thinking, okay, I can just let go of my ace 3 of clubs here, something like it's flop. I'm just like either check folding this flop or something, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna lead. I'm maybe check call once, like a 1/3, but that's it. Like I'm not gonna raise and just jump. A
Yep.
video about this hands. Yeah, I'll make one for YouTube. Anywho, I have some questions if you'd like to answer them, and also if chat has any questions for my man here. Also, by the way, cents in pants, right? I'll
Yep.
drop you a YouTube link right now. Just give me a second. I'll drop you a YouTube link in chat so you can actually subscribe to his YouTube channel because he's also making videos. So I'll drop it right now for you guys in chat. There we go. And yeah. Sense is a Nolme Hold'em PLO crusher, has grinded up to 2550. He's home now at Nolme Hold'em is Nolme 400. PLO goes higher. We have some graphs in chat. If you want, you can contact him through his YouTube channel, probably for coaching, or like if you want coaching from him, you can ask me for some contact, and he's probably also going to be on a reg club soon as maybe like head PLO coach after I
That's cool,
grind
man. That's cool.
some questions off him. Yeah, it's about balance. Yeah, I kind of get that. Small blind can have all sets in position. 4-bet doesn't. I don't think small blind 3-bets 3s nor 6s. I don't know about
Yes.
6s. 6s maybe. In position 4-bet doesn't. At 200, I guess we flex a little bit with a nut advantage from small blind. He likely wouldn't lead at 100 blinds deep because SPR would be too short to incentivize it. True.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes some
Okay.
sense.
All right. So we have some questions. We had one question in chat earlier from Tide Pockets. Let me just find it. Might take me just a little bit. Oh yeah. When is a good time to bluff raise? This is more like a general question. When is a good time to bluff raise or semi-bluff raise? I see he did it with a gut shot backdoor flush draw. I'll leave this one to you. I think generally when we have strong value and we need to balance that with some other bluffs, right?
I think bluff raising is all about utilizing your blockers and understanding that you have you might have some showdown value, but that showdown value compared to your opponent's range is actually nothing. So on paper, maybe you might have bottom pair, but compared to his range, that's actually worthless, right? So
Yeah.
instead of like checking down, use it as a bluff, because if you don't use like bottom pair or like second pair as bluffs, right? Sometimes you don't even reach the river with air. So if you don't have air, and you can't bluff with air, you got to take something that's like at your bottom of your range to bluff with, right? So
Exactly.
sometimes, yeah, these hands can be very valuable as like bluffs because they block sets. In a sense, it's better than nothing. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Cash games generally have small blind 3-bet their entire range due to rake. Have you seen much cold calling. No, at this stage, I understand. I understand. That's actually not due to rake. I think it's due to the fact that big blind squeezes very often, and due to the fact that you're out of position, so you want to take the initiative. Somebody asked, what's your prices for PLO coaching? I think it depends on limit. Is that
Uh,
true?
okay, so regarding PL coaching, like it's really all about like what stakes you're at. I mean, I won't charge you like 100 an hour if you're like playing PL 10 because you're probably covering more on like, what to play pre-flops, like how to
More
select like
basics, yeah.
yeah, more basic stuff and like whether to see bet pot in a spot or like should you go 33% and all that kind of stuff. I won't charge $100 for that, like maybe $30 or something, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
we can discuss about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you want to King Grado, if you want to contact him, just um, I guess could I leave your Discord in chat or something?
You could give them my email. It's fine.
Your email. Yeah, if anybody wants sends email, just whisper me and I'll just send it over to you. I'll not put in like public chat. Okay. So other questions for you from me. If chat, if you have other questions, just lay them in chat. My
Oh wait,
questions are.
I see a question actually. Like why am I not playing PL anymore? Can I just answer that?
Wait. What? Where
It's
did
up
you see that?
GDI 9919.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Okay. I am still playing PL, just that my school semester just started, so I'm gonna be focusing more on like my studies and not like grinding and trying to figure out the leaks of my opponents and stuff, which is really time consuming. But I'll still be continuing like my studies on PioSolver. So once my holidays start, I'm gonna start grinding again. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna like make videos and like start coaching or something. So yep.
He plays PLO and Norman Hold'em. He doesn't transition. He's just we're talking about Norman Hold'em because I don't play PLO, so that's kind of why.
Yeah.
For these questions are generally for Norman Hold'em. So, what's the spot in which you think you make the most money?
In No Limit Hold'em,
Yeah, yeah.
I think, well, the spot. Well, I think like in multi-way scenarios where like a lot of like fishers, they tend to overvalue some hands. They
Mm-hmm.
play a lot of like bad hands pre, and I always end up with like a dominating. Okay, when the pot gets big, like I always have like the dominating straight draw, flush draw, and like that's how you earn a shit ton of money playing like No Limit Hold'em by
Yeah,
stacking people, with the
yeah,
better draw.
yeah,
And it's the
yeah,
same
yeah.
for Omaha and all other poker games. So yep.
Okay. Your study routine. You told us about it. Um, my question was, do you play balanced poker in most spots, or do you exploit certain types of players? I think we kind of answered that question already. What's your exploitative approach versus unknowns?
Unknowns, like
Yeah.
my standard is actually to just start with like my own like GTO strat. But exploitatively, well, unless you're using a HUD, but I'm not, so I can't really like make any exploitative
Mm-hmm,
adjustments.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So just gotta like okay, so at the start of my session I don't play that many tables because I really want to find out who I'm playing against.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Zoom, then that's fine, but if you're playing regular tables, start small, play like 2 3 tables, find out who you're up against, check whether like are they like on a lot of tables. If they are, these are the people who are actually regs at that stake, but you
Yeah.
can really exploit them because they aren't focusing in like mini spots. So that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like I overbet more because I know they don't have time to like really think about their range, break down where they're at, and that kind of thing. And then if they're overcalling too much, I'll start overbetting like more value. And if they're calling
Yeah.
too little, I'll start adding in more bluffs. So that's one way to like kind of exploit like other regs playing at the stake.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
Nice. And you
Yep.
probably raise them more too.
Yeah. Right.
All right. How do you organize your time, and do you multi-table like a large amount of tables? Do you always play like 4 to 6 tables?
Ooh, when I first started playing poker, I played a lot of like MTTs and like spin and goes and stuff. So I
Yeah.
used to play like 20 tables, I would
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
say, on like 2 screens.
Yes.
But now I play like um 6 probably max, like cash games.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
as I start to like move up the limits, I play less and less because your win rate really depends on you trying to exploit opponents and not like just auto playing, like GTO style and all that. Like it doesn't really work out as well as you think
Yeah.
because nobody can really like play perfect GTO. You
Mm-hmm.
really gotta like get some reads, man. Yeah. So you really gotta like pay attention. Even when you're not in the hand, like watch how they play against other people. Like that's really important, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how did you force yourself to play less tables? This was a question actually from fellow streamer Andre Cause. Um,
Okay.
how did you discipline yourself to play less tables? Because he said like I get bored if I play only 6 tables of cash. I guess if he said if I up the limit, I'll play less tables. But if I'm at my regular limit, I'll play even like 12. Because if not, I get bored and
Wow. Oh
start
well.
playing more
Okay.
hands and stuff like that.
That's crazy. Okay, I used to have this problem, but I realized like the more tables I add, like the worse my win rate is.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, I am bored. Like occasionally I just like while I'm grinding 6 tables, I pop up like a YouTube video and start watching. But I do not recommend this to like people who are not like really experienced in grinding because
Yeah.
I've been looking at my screen for like 7 years, dude. Like this is like normal day stuff to me. But if you like you're just starting out in poker and you're like trying to find an edge, right? Like don't play like 6 tables and start watching a YouTube video because that's not gonna work out well for you, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But for
yeah,
me, it
yeah.
works out fine.
I
Yeah.
remember grinding like that, 6 tabling or 8 tabling, or like 888, making money for like my college tax, and grinding 8 hours per day and watching PewDiePie nonstop.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
I watched like half his channel.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
a lot of people, dude.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so do you prefer to play long sessions or shorter sessions and more often?
When I'm up, I play like 1 hour and I'm out, man. But when I'm down, I can go all the way. I can go like 12 hours straight, like
Holy
two
shit!
toilet breaks, no food.
Isn't
That's
it?
it, man.
Isn't it the other way around? Like when you're winning, you're supposed to be playing more because you're like in a good mindset.
Okay, but when I'm winning, like I really just want to take a break, honestly, most of the time.
It's like
I mean,
I
yeah,
made
yeah,
my money for the day. I could just like go away and it's fine.
yeah, and like when I'm at my A game, yeah, I try to like really concentrate and try to play more hands. But
Yeah.
at some point, I just get like, okay, you know what, I'm up that much, and like I just want to take a break, and
Yep.
maybe I'll just like spend more time studying my opponents instead, like change the pace a bit. Yeah.
All right. What keeps you motivating to grind, and what's your ultimate goal?
Who motivation? I think it's like, well, I started playing poker
Aside
because
from
of
like monetary,
monetary. Yeah.
yeah. So aside
Okay.
aside from us, like let's set aside the money. Is there anything else?
Well, all my friends and my family told me that I couldn't do it, and I really wanted to prove to them that I could play this card game for a living, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I made my point. But I want it to be like something that's long term, like a
Yeah.
supplement income kind of thing. And even like in the future when I have a normal job, I want something that I want to do something that I'm passionate about,
Yeah, and
and
that
I
you're
can
really proud
justify.
of, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I
Okay.
want to justify that isn't like a waste of time. I am making money, but at the same time, I'm having fun,
Yep.
and yeah, it's
What's
important.
your what's your major? What are you majoring in?
Oh, economics. So
Economic.
it kind of helps my poker because I do take courses like on game theory and stuff. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. We had that in college too. I remember. Like I heard
yeah.
about Nash and I was like, what the fuck?
I'm
What?
I'm currently like taking that like this semester, so hopefully it helps me become like a higher stake PL player. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how
I
that
think
goes.
that theoretically it won't, but I hope it will for your sake.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay. So, what is the most exciting thing that ever happened to you while playing poker?
Can it be like a poker hand?
Anything?
Okay. Well, I used to play this rag from Sweden. Heads up, PL
Mm-hmm.
5K a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and sometimes we would be really deep, like 20K or something. And there was one day I lost like 50,000 to him or something, and I was
Holy shit.
really sad. I went home. I studied him for like 36 hours straight or something, and I really wanted to break him so hard. The next day I came back and I owned him for like 100K.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
so like in like buy-ins, that's like 20 buy-ins. It doesn't sound a lot, but 100K is a shit ton of money to some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like after owning him for 100K, I still had like probably like 20K of rig back or something. So that was like a huge day for me.
Lol.
And I wasn't even the best part about that experience, right? I wasn't even like in my own country. I was actually on like holiday, but I was like, dude, I gotta own this guy, dude. So I took out my laptop and
My
I
God.
got to crush him. And yeah.
Is it okay if I leave your email in chat for coaching
Yeah,
contact?
yeah, please
Okay,
just yeah, no
there you go.
problem.
All right. What is the most exciting thing that ever happened to you? Is it the same thing or is it something else?
It's
Not
like the day that
necessarily.
I found out
Hmm?
the day that I found out I could actually like make money playing poker because I lost for like 2 years straight, dude. I was like a station or something. I didn't know how
Yeah.
to play the game, and then I
So there
hired a
is hope
coach.
for all you guys out there.
Yeah, dude, that you gotta like poker is all about like studying and like making the effort and discipline. Like if you got those, like you'll make it for sure. It's like one of those things where like if you work hard, you really will get the results like somehow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So how many hands did you use to grind, like, let's say, few years ago compared to now? Like,
Oof.
have you limited the amount of hands nowadays? Now that money isn't that much of an issue.
In the past I used to grind like maybe 12 hours, so that's like 500 hands an hour, like 6,000 hands a day, so almost 180,000
Uh huh.
hands a
Uh huh.
month. But
Was
now
that MTT or hypers?
it's like everything, dude, like MTTs, hypers, like even when I'm taking a break I grind like cash games and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's like a mixture of everything.
Holy shit.
And now I'm just playing like nowadays I don't even play that much. I spend more time on like
Studying.
PioSolver and Manga
Yeah.
solver, yeah. And like this new channel, like this whole
Mm-hmm.
social media thing is so new to me. It's like a new
Yeah.
venture,
It's a hard beast to tame, by the way. Good luck with that.
Yeah, so like I now that I'm like done with poker, I want to move on to like other stuff. But on the way, I'll still be grinding, trying to earn my money
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and all
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, so balancing
Do
out
you think
basically.
like MTTs are still like very very profitable nowadays
Uh,
compared to like
well,
cash games or PLO cash games?
if I were to be like completely honest, like in terms of ranking, like which games are the most profitable, like PL Cash is like number one because you can make like 25 BBs per hundred. Like honestly, I've like 10 BBs per hundred is like like you're a beast in No Limit Hold'em if you make
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
those kind of
Mm-hmm.
money. But like in PLO, like that's normal, dude. And in MTTs are really tough, like because of how like fishers prefer fast-paced MTTs. Blinds
Yeah. Yeah.
go up
Yeah.
really
Your
fast.
edge
Yeah,
drops.
yeah, your edge drops a lot, and it's really top heavy. So your variance just like skyrockets. Like
Mm.
if you understand like statistics, like top heavy games not good for poker players because of variance, but good for the site because
Yeah.
top heavy games they attract more players because like everybody wants to win top prize. Everybody thinks they can win the top prize. You know.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice. Yeah, but there's like that also attracts more recreational players. That's awesome.
yeah, it's useful for the game, dude.
Yeah. And then
Good.
those recreational players take their money to cash game tables.
Yeah, that is very true. Whenever I play at high stakes tables, there are always some people who like they just want an MTT or something and they come and like spew their money. It's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Crazy.
So let's see. I asked already about the multiple sizing split pre-flop. Um, do you bluff enough in like all your spots, and is that like a focus for your game? Like, except for when you're like exploiting somebody and you're trying to play GTO. Do you feel like you bluff enough in all spots, or do you feel like you're lacking a little bit in that department?
Honestly, I think I bluff. I bluff too much, man. If any one of you out there, like if you guys like knew who I am or some shit, like and you watch me play, like you'll be like, this guy is like aggro AF, like he's like OTB in PL, dude. Yeah, man. Some guy is gonna like pot me on the river, and I'm just gonna repot him because I have blockers. That's it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. So,
yeah. But I try my best to balance my ranges. If
I
that's
think
what you're
in
asking,
PLO
right?
it's a lot easier to overbluff. Is that true?
Yeah. In
Because you can
PLO,
just
like,
have so many hands with blockers.
right, you can have like, common mistake is like, when the board has a flush and
Mm?
like it's also paired,
Mm.
and like you have like the ace high blocker and you still bluff. Like that's not very good. Like a lot of people like
I know,
like
especially
it's a
flushes in Omaha. Like it took me around 3 minutes to understand there was a Broadway straight on board, and the other guy won, and I thought that we'd chop, and it took me like 2 minutes to understand what the fuck just happened.
Yeah,
Why?
it's a really confusing game at the start, like for no limit hold'em players. But it's fun. I play PLO because it's fun. It's like exciting, you know, like
Yeah,
splash here,
yeah,
splash there, and like fishes are really involved in PLO for
yep,
some reason. And I love it. It's fun.
yep.
Yeah.
All right, so one last question here in chat. If you have any other question, except for is there hope for me? Yes, there's hope for you, Frank. It's good.
Yep.
Do you size your bets preferentially versus some regs or all the regs that you're playing against, or do you always play just range? So meaning
Well,
that you might have a few hands that you might not include bluffs versus just value, and you're just trying to make your opponent. You know that your opponent will not raise you that often. And you have like that ace 10 after double barreling button versus big blind, and then just go for like maybe like a half or like a third sizing to just get called by like that ace 7, that ace 8, that ace 9, right? Do you do that?
I think I do that more to like recreational players, like players who I can exploit where I bet small
Yeah, yeah,
and like
yeah.
they don't have the balls to raise me. Essentially, that's what the play is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if I bet small against regs, I gotta make sure that okay, you know, I gotta include some like boats in there, ace high flushes in there. So
Yes.
if they shuffle me, you know, I'm just gonna snap call them, and they're just gonna be like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
you're
This
gonna
guy
have a
actually
part of
knows
your
how to play the
range.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, you know, some people like they look at like high stakes players who play and they are just like okay, you know, like this their play looks really fishy. But my advice, like, go PO or Monker that shit out first, because like these stuff that we do are really like hardcore GTO shit, you know, like yeah, respect, basically respect.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. All right,
Yeah.
man. I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. This
All right.
was I'll be honest, this was a lot more awesome than I was expecting it to be. You're a great person to talk to. It's really, really easy to basically like talk to you. Some people are like more like very like straightforward, but you love to like also have like conversation, everything. Poker is not everything to you, so I think that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool, and kudos to you. We'll be in touch because we'll talk about the whole Red Club situation. Thank you so much for
Oh.
everybody who was here. And I'll send you guys to Andre Cause. Go say hello to him. I'm just hosting somebody. Go say hello to him. Say that hello from Scrimitzu or something. Something weird, like a triple range merge or something like that. All right. So let's go raid Andre Cause. And have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Right. See
Bye
you
bye.
guys.